Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of Timothy Dexter?
Timothy Dexter.
Timothy Dexter.
He's got a laboratory.
No, he does not. Timothy Dexter. Timothy Dexter.
Timothy. If I say it over and over, you act like he's going to show up. Timothy Dexter. Timothy Dexter. Timothy Dexter. Don't say it 5 times. Who's Timothy Dexter?
So Timothy Dexter, he is quite possibly the world's first rags to riches story.
Okay.
But
let me ask you right now. We're getting into a live show. Is there going to be aliens? I just want to get out. Golly. All right. Let's do it. All right. If your friend starts saying you should shoot that guy, you should. Then it's over.
So Much Blubber is the title of my biography. His slogan was "Keep it frothy."
I read that in someone's Twitter bio yesterday. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Things I learned last night. TILLN it.
All right, first rags to riches story.
There's no aliens. I want to do that to you. There's no aliens. I could work it in, though. We'll see. I'll find a point.
Okay.
Timothy Dexter, he might be the luckiest person to ever live.
Okay.
The things that happen in his life, I can't even begin to comprehend.
Luckier than the guy who survived 2 atomic bombs?
I don't know. Now that you bring that up.
He's a real...
the luckiest guy until, what is that, 1945, 44?
What year is Timothy Dexter alive? What year? What are we talking?
So he was born in 1747.
Oh, early.
Yeah, so he's
He's an old guy.
He's an early
Well, he's
American.
a dead guy now, for sure. But
Oh, no, he's alive.
Okay,
He
great.
made it.
All right.
He was really rich.
Aliens, dude. Freaking knew it. Okay.
So Timothy Dexter
We're going way back.
was born in 1747 in this town called Malden, Massachusetts.
Okay.
His parents were lower class citizens.
Rags, if you will.
Rags. He dropped out of school at the age of 8 to work on the family farm. So not super educated.
I thought you were going to be because he was like, I'm too good for this. like an 8-year-old's like, I got it.
I could do better than this education thing.
Mm-mm.
Not digging it.
Look at me doing math. I can 5 times 3, 14. Got it.
Got it.
He's 8, dude. I don't know.
Anybody got a farm I could work at?
The overconfidence of 8-year-olds, dude.
So he worked there for a little while, but at the age of 16, he said, man.
A little while? This kid worked 8 years somewhere?
8 years as a farm hand, just a farm hand in Massachusetts. And at the age of 16, he said, you know what? This is really putting a lot of weight on my body. Like, this is making me age quickly.
At 16?
At 16, he said, my bones just aren't what
can't
they
take it anymore.
Yeah, he felt himself aging, so he did what anyone would do in that moment.
Retired.
And no.
All right, I'm done with school, and also it's time for my twilight
16.
years. Well, at that time, 16's like the 40, right? Like they were.
Yeah, it is 1740s.
Yeah,
so
they died at 28.
Yeah, he was at the end. No, he walked to Newburyport, Massachusetts, which is not a quick walk. If you maps it on maps, it'll tell you we recommend you drive. It's a long walk. And so at 16, he walks to Newburyport and he becomes a tanner's apprentice. Okay. And so he's learning how to tan hides, right? Everything to this point, not super important.
Right.
But what happens while he's here is incredible. Because
while he's tanning hides?
Yeah, he's tanning hides. He's saving up his money. He saves up a couple $1,000s, with a lot of money for that time.
Yeah.
And the Revolutionary War is coming to a close. And throughout the Revolutionary War, the government, they had what they called the Continental currency. And so this currency was what they were paying their soldiers with. They just made it up. It wasn't real money. They were just like, we're
here's
fake
some coins.
Yeah, we're
Thanks
like
for possibly dying.
We're like, here's the deal. We're in revolt right now against.
Oh yeah.
We have no money.
Right.
So here's a bunch of fake money, and maybe if we win, it'll be worth something. They won, and the government.
So it became worth something.
Well.
Okay. The government was like, hey, remember those coins we gave you? Just kidding. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, remember those coins we gave you? There's this new store.
You can redeem that for this stuffed animal, all right?
You can use that at Chuck E. Cheese's.
Well, it was Charles Jesus then. They were more formal. They were more formal. It was his grandfather. It was Chuck E. Cheese's grandfather. And didn't turn Chuck E. Cheese until the 1800s, you know?
Yeah, you gotta get there. Well, when the government was established, a bunch of the wigs, you know,
Golly,
the white wigs.
They just put googly eyes on them, and they're like, "Here's your what are you going with that?"
That was the founding fathers.
Oh, okay.
Wigs with googly eyes. When we drew them, the artists drew them, and they were like, "This is creepy. Give them a full body."
What is this bit? What? And they could be exchanged for coins?
Oh yeah, so the government said, okay, we can exchange the continental currency. And then the people in the government were like, what if we didn't do that?
Yeah.
Like, what if we just didn't have to pay them? Like the war we won. And
was
we
it like
could
a
just
thing
not
that
pay
was
them.
like, well, okay, so if you put money in the hands of the people who literally just won a war,
won a revolt?
I was gonna say, wouldn't it? How do you keep them from? It's like you know, if a girl cheats on you, if you're dating a girl who's cheating on her boyfriend, she's gonna cheat on you.
Yeah.
If you pay the people who revolted, they're gonna revolt on you eventually.
Yeah. So that's a good point. You
That's
don't
good
want them to have
logic. I
money.
know that you're like, that was weird. That's good logic.
So there was this big debate in
Okay.
Congress at the time. It's like, do we pay these people or do we not? And
That's
so
still going on, by the way. They're still debating that.
So the government was like back and forth on this, right?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, these Continentals, everyone's just like, this money's useless. Like, they're never gonna pay us. We're never gonna be able
We're
to
calling
redeem
them
this.
Continentals? The Continentals.
Yeah, they're
at
calling them
this point.
Continentals.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this phrase arose. Whenever you had something that was super useless, you would say that's as valuable as a Continental because it was useless. It had no value.
You know, I've heard your wife say that so much about you, and I just never understood the reference. I get that now, Bree. Thank you. That's good.
So the Continental was worthless.
Abigail enjoyed that one.
Is that gonna happen more?
I hope she sort of laughs more. She just can't stop now. She's. All right. It wasn't that good of a joke, Abby. That's why. Well,
So the Continental was worthless.
yeah.
Nobody saw any value in it.
Yeah.
Except Timothy Dexter. He had a couple
Was this
$1,000.
like a Bitcoin thing where he's like all of a sudden just surges?
He started Continental market bets.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitter. Listen, start collecting Continentals, okay? Because in a few years, this is gonna blow up. I promise.
Diamond hands, baby, diamond hands.
Also, I'm telling you, one day that car is not gonna have a horse in front of it. I promise.
I promise you.
I don't know. This guy's pretty crazy. I don't know.
So he takes his full $1,000, his couple $1,000
Continental
savings,
to the moon.
and he just goes to all these ex-soldiers who
Yeah.
have a ton of Continentals.
He's like, give them to me.
And he just starts buying them off of them. But here's the thing: the value of them was so low at this point. So he was literally
So the
buying
U.S.
them-
dollar is established at this point.
No.
What is he buying them with?
He's buying them with like British
Goods?
money, like because they were a nation of.
Okay.
I don't know, what do you call it? Britain, Great Britain, the UK, Norwegia.
Britija?
Britija.
What are you talking about? They're British dollars from I don't know where. You knew Brit? Britija.
Britija. Okay, so he had all these Britijis dollars. He had all this money, and
So he's collecting Continentals, trading what
British
they think
dollars.
is valuable.
Yeah, for the
Okay.
Continentals. The Continental didn't make any sense. They got them like, the denominations were like $2, $7, $38. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But they were so not valuable that
Yeah.
anybody would take really, really low ball offers for them. Like literally fractions of a penny was what he was getting these for. He was getting $2, $3,
Like a button.
$7 notes. Yeah.
Here's a button. Give me all your Continentals.
Give me all your Continentals. So he was getting so much of these Continental dollars.
Just bags of Continentals.
He walked around with all these Continentals for fractions of a penny.
Yeah.
Well, then the government is going back and forth, right? And then finally they come to a conclusion and they say, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll allow them to trade these for bonds, but they're 10% of their value, which is way more than what he bought them for. And so he was able to go trade them in for these bonds at significantly higher value than what he bought them for. So overnight...
He's like, I just got rid of all my buttons for these. Just bags of buttons.
Why is he... Okay.
I don't know why he's got bags of buttons. I don't know. I was hoping that you would fill in the gaps there.
So he overnight
becomes
incredibly rich. And
Yeah.
I tried so hard to find someone who figured out the value that he got.
Okay.
But it was just insane because he went and he bought 2 ships, like not boats, ships, and in an estate. He bought all this stuff, incredibly like overnight,
Ships.
super wealthy. 2 ships. 2
ships. Okay, I'm with you. And a house.
2 ships and a house. And a ton of buttons.
Ships full of buttons. I got a ship full of buttons.
And if that weren't a story enough, after this all happened, after all of this happens, he meets this woman named Elizabeth Frothingham. And she is
That's a super 1700s name. Frothingham. Is that name around? Google that. Is there a name? Is there anybody named not Elizabeth Frothingham? Is there Frothingham? Is anyone here last name Frothingham? Shut up, Joe. Joe Frothingham. Yeah, dude. Of St. Louis.
Yeah, there is. Oh, wow, there's a lot on Instagram.
Are they all on LinkedIn?
Instagram,
Are they just like super?
There actually is a master hairstylist on LinkedIn with the last name Frothingham.
Frothingham?
She has 54 connections. Connect.
How old's that hairstylist?
I don't know. It doesn't say the age.
They you know that in the early 2000s
200.
their shop was like, I don't do frosted tips. I do frothed tips.
Frothy tips.
Frothy. Keep
Can I
it
get some
frothy.
frothy tips?
There was a car person when I was growing up. There was a car radio. There was a radio ad. The guy sold cars. They all had radios. But at the end, his name, I don't even remember his name. It was something, it was Frost, right? It was
Frost,
like the
yeah.
dealership. And at the end, he would say, keep it frosty.
Oh, no.
And I just thought that's the peak of just sleazy car salesman.
That really is.
It's just, so anyway, if I had a hair...
It's crazy that you said that because Elizabeth, she was recently a widow, and her husband was very wealthy as a car dealer.
Shut up.
And his slogan was keep it frothy.
Keep it frothy. Come on down, get your carriages. They don't rick it around, And then it was a weird voice. What I'm saying at the end, he would
Really
go,
weird.
He would go, come on down, we got talking real fast. And the end, he would just go, keep it frosty.
Keep it frothy. Yeah, that's weird.
We
I
got
don't like that.
carriages.
I don't like that
keep
one
it
bit.
frothy.
But yeah, Elizabeth, she really was a wealthy widow. Her husband was very wealthy, and she inherited all of his money.
When he died.
Yeah, when he died. And so now she's very rich also.
Yeah.
And he starts courting this woman, and they get married. So her riches and his new riches, they are some of the most wealthy people in the state of Massachusetts.
Oh.
And so now, with his newfound status, Timothy Dexter says, well, what do I do? I should start a shipping empire. He's like, I got 2 ships. I got a lot of money.
Yeah?
Let's do a shipping empire. So he hires a whole crew, and he says, what can I start to ship? And so he makes a lot of friends in his gated community in Massachusetts. And here's the thing.
They gather at Starbucks.
His contemporaries are not a fan of Timothy Dexter.
His contemporary? Okay.
Yeah, his peers, if you will. They're not fans of him because here's the thing. They don't think he's legitimate because he's not. Like, he just got lucky and made a ton of money.
Well, he has legitimate money now.
Well, he does, but...
Oh, they're treating him like a lottery person who won the lottery?
Yeah, like he just won something and now he's here. Like, and all of them, they're old money. There was no new money at the time. Like, new money didn't exist. Everyone's old money. And so like...
are they treating him like the neighbor who moves into like a really big neighborhood and then collects boats in his backyard?
Yeah.
Parted out boats, It's just like the backyard just overgrown and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone looks over and they're like, "Nah."
Yeah, they treat him like a dude who dropped out of school at 8.
He's not one of our I really don't like that contemporary over there. All my other contemporaries I enjoy. Did he take her last name? Frothingham?
Timothy Frothingham. No, he did not. But anyways, so they did not like him.
Just because they're, but yeah, they're legitimate. They're like, my granddad gave me this money. Yeah, I'm glad those people aren't around anymore. They didn't buy tickets to our show, the rich people. Oh man, let's be honest, we're all middle class, all right? And we have a very specific audience.
It's true.
Are there homeowners here? Homeowners?
Any homeowners?
Wow.
Wow, quite a few.
Wow, I hate that our listeners are further ahead than I am. You know, I don't like that. I don't like that, you know? I don't like that.
So he is at some party trying to just bounce business ideas off of everyone around him, right?
Yeah.
And someone tells him, they said, well, hey, the West Indies down in the Caribbean, I hear they don't have any bed pans, like bed heating pans. So what they had at the time, I don't know if that's the technical term. I call
they
them bed
didn't have
pans.
the what?
They had these bed pans, but they were for heat.
Try again.
They were just like bed pans back in the day.
What are you trying to describe?
They're called bed warmers. They came to me, and they look like little like you know those popcorns that you pop on the stove. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then it's like pops up, and you're like, oh, cool, popcorn.
Nope. So I said yeah, and you kept going, but I appreciate it. Go ahead.
They had the same thing, but you opened it up, you filled it with hot coals, and you stuck it at the foot of your bed to warm your bed up because they didn't have like
very
central
different
heat.
than a bedpan. That is not the same thing at all.
Well, bed pans work the same thing. The heating element's different.
All right. We can't stay on that. We gotta go. All right. We gotta get off that pot. All right.
Because it was cold and they didn't have heaters, and so they would just stick this hot pan in their feet and heat their bed up. It sounds like that's a good way to catch your bed.
That's the upper class, all right? The lower class were just setting their mattresses on fire, dude. A lot of casualties, you know?
Hey, honey, you got the matches? The matches?
Every night they're just... Yeah, we got 10 minutes before we're gone, so...
Honey, I can't find the mattress matches.
The mattress matches? I hate that.
So here's the thing. They were shipping it to a place that was really hot all the time.
Yeah.
And so they didn't need bed pans.
Bed warmers.
Bed warmers. They didn't need bed warmers.
Space heaters.
Yeah, they need space heaters. But Timothy heard this idea, and he's like, that's a great idea. They have none of those there. There's no market. It's an untapped market. And so he buys 100,000 of these bed warmers, loads it up in a ship, and sends his crew out to the West Indies. And he's expecting them to come back
sell
with a shitload of money.
Snow shovels in Los Angeles. What are you talking about?
That's exactly what he did. So he gets there, and his captain isn't sure what his cargo is yet, right? So they land, they make landfall, they crash into the port.
The captain wasn't sure about a lot, honestly, you know? Didn't know what was on the boat, didn't know how to drive the boat, you know? Just rammed into the shore.
They get there, the captain opens up the cargo, and he's like, are you kidding me? He's like, these people don't need this. But he realizes while he's there, he's like, you know what? Molasses is the biggest export of this place. I'm gonna tell them these are molasses spoons. And so... So he goes to a bunch of molasses experts, and he's like, have you guys heard of molasses spoons?
Molasses experts? What, do they teach molasses classes?
Yep. Molasses tech.
Mo-tech.
And so they sell out.
Everyone, of molasses spoons. I'm really glad we clarified that they were bed warmers and not bed pans at this point. Just bed pans of molasses? So they just make up a new use for them.
Yeah, they just pretended something else, and everybody in the West Indies is like,
they're like, that's
they're very large. They're very large, and they're like, this is better than the spoons. We were using teaspoons to spoon out all this molasses. Now we got this whole molasses spoon. Why didn't we know about this? Yeah, so they sold out, and so the ship comes back with so much more money, and so now his contemporaries Or like,
are like, well, hold on. It seems as though he has used the boats in his backyard and returned fruitful.
and so yeah, they're mad
They're
at each other.
staring out their window like a disgruntled old man. Just.
So they were shocked to see his success.
Yeah.
So they had to devise a new plan. So they came to him and they said, okay, you know what else the West Indies need?
They're just like, what else can we lie about? They're like, oh yeah, this looks like,
They said, you know what else the West Indies needs? They said, mittens. They need lots of mittens. And he was like, you know what? Untapped market, mittens down there.
And all their hands naked. Everyone's on their naked hands. This is a great idea.
It's a great, yeah. Thank you, Jefferson. I'll load up the cargo ship.
Thomas Jefferson gave him this idea? Is that what you said? Thank you, Jefferson?
Yeah, Jefferson's still mad about the Continental
Jefferson's
thing.
like, I'm trying to get in on the mitten market.
He bought all the mittens in Massachusetts. All the Massachusetts mittens are gone.
So they're mass-producing Massachusetts mittens.
Yep, for mass transit.
Got it. Okay.
So they get him to the West Indies, and as luck would have
And
it,
they go, y'all like swampy hands? How are you going to convince them on that?
as luck would have it, there was a group of traders there from India that were about to head up to Russia.
Ooh.
And they had no mittens. And so they bought all of the mittens on the boat. Because they said, it's going to be cold where we're going.
Dude,
we could use some of that.
I would be mad at this guy. You know, like let's say you're one of the founding fathers. You're out here like, first of all, we revolted.
We revolted, we did that.
We're trying to build a country, and Tim over here is selling mittens. That's ridiculous.
to the West Indies. So then, at this
Then
point,
he comes back with another boatload of money.
another boatload of money. Insane how rich this guy's getting. He starts going by Lord. Nobody gave him the title. He just gave it. He is now Lord Dexter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now people hate him even more.
Oh, yeah, for sure, dude. Because, I mean, if you meet somebody and they're like, what was your first name again? Oh, you can call me Lord. I'm sorry, did you say Lorb?
Lorb?
Lorb. Did you say Lorb? No, Lord.
Lord.
Hey, have you ever heard of TILLN podcast merch? That's right, we've got a full merch store of TILLN branded tees, mugs, stickers, hoodies, a lot more. And we put out new designs with every episode, but those are only available for a limited time, so you got to get those while they're hot. Text TILLN to 66866 to get access to our exclusive merchandise.
So no one liked this guy. And there was a common phrase at the time called where you say you're shipping coal to Newcastle, because Newcastle was the top manufacturer of coal.
So Timothy was like, I bet I can sell it.
Well, here's what happened. So when you do something really dumb, someone would say, it's like you're shipping coal to Newcastle. And someone said that to him, and they said, he's having all this luck. And they're like, you're just shipping coal to Newcastle. And he
goes,
says, should I do that?
He's like, no, honestly, I'm taking business advice from anybody. Yeah.
So he ships a bunch of coal to Newcastle, and you're not gonna believe this.
Shut up.
The ship ports in Newcastle, and there is a miners' strike. So the whole city is out of coal. And they're like, we could use that. We could use that. As it were, we have no coal. And so lo and behold, this guy tells him to ship coal to Newcastle. He does it. And to his dismay, the ship comes back to Massachusetts
More
full
money.
of money.
At this point, you gotta think he's a magician. At this point, you gotta think he might be an alien or a wizard.
And it doesn't stop there. The things just kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier. He, for some reason, he had this obsession with rounding up stray cats.
At what point does, because you use the word obsession, right? So at like what point does it cross from like a hobby What's he got, a shipload of cats?
Well, yeah, it's when you hit the point where you hire a team to round up stray kittens for you. And so he really does. He gets a shipload of kittens and he ships them overseas. And when they get to where they were going, there was a infestation of rats. And so everyone's like, give me your cats. Give me your cats. Give me your cats for these rats. He said, we need more cats.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Wrap it.
No. I was almost like, give me a beat. No. You know who this stuff happens to? This is what happens to Reagan. Reagan is like a lucky person.
Yeah.
Right? Like she changed her own brakes and then those brakes broke.
Yeah.
Because she changed them. But then at the same time, like she's on the phone with me and a tow truck driver just pulls up and it's like, hey, I'm on my way to this other thing. I can just take your car for free.
Oh my gosh.
You know who that doesn't happen to?
Is it you?
Ever. You know who that doesn't happen to? You. Didn't you lock your keys in your car today?
3 hours ago.
3 hours ago.
I was at Office Depot. I was sitting in the Office Depot parking lot. Called my wife.
Delivering staplers. You wouldn't believe it, but he was trying. He was like, I'm going to take staplers to
Hey, you guys.
I'm going to sell these staplers.
Have you heard of these?
You're out front trying to undercut Office Depot's prices. Hey man, I just gotta sell these for my kid. You know, I just gotta get rid of these. You know, I'll give you $5 for a button. Just the one off your shirt right there. I'll take that one.
Just pop it off. You pop it off.
I'll pop it
pull
off. Oh, I got it.
I got it.
With your teeth. No, it's the easiest way to do it. It's the easiest way to do it. You know? You ever popped a button off someone's shirt?
No.
You gotta use your teeth.
Man, I wish you were wearing a shirt.
I don't know
with
why I have
buttons.
experience knowing that. Well, you gotta use, you know.
I wish you were wearing a button up.
That's the quickest way to, you know. That's how to make sure no one steals your buttons. Honestly, masks help with it. I don't know where this bit's going. Please help.
I was just gonna leave you. I was just gonna let you keep going. Let you keep digging.
So the cats took care of the rats.
The cats took care of the rats, and they brought a bag load of money.
I thought you were saying they brought bats back. Like
they traded them for bats. No, yes, they brought.
What if he traded them for the rats and they came back?
I think we could use those.
Yeah, no, I can sell those. Yeah.
It wasn't just the cats, though. It wasn't just the cats. Another thing that he, for some reason, really wanted, and this isn't today, it would be frowned upon if you did this. So don't get any ideas. But he really liked whale bones for some reason. So he just got a ton of them. He had like a basement, like a storage room. And
Full
it was
of
like
whale bones?
Here's my whalebone room.
Like you can't even walk down there. You just open the door and it's
They
just
fall out.
Because whale bones aren't small. You don't got small whale bones. You know?
The metatarsals, the whale metatarsals.
This is a whale. Believe it or not, this is a whale bone.
This is
I
a whale
promise.
bone. Their skeletons are tiny inside. It's just a ton of blubber. They got a tiny little skeleton.
You wouldn't believe,
it's only 2
man.
inches long.
Oh my gosh.
So much blubber.
Yeah. Whales are tiny inside.
So much blubber.
Isn't that aren't we all though?
So much blubber is the title of my biography.
So much blubber? Your biography? This is someone else wrote this about
Yeah,
you?
someone else. Someone else.
Someone else had that mean of a title about you? That's rude. Okay, so what else? So whale bones.
So he has all these whale bones, and this trend kicks off in Europe for male corsets. But here's the thing: for some reason, male corsets specifically, I don't know why, were made with whale bones. And so
Okay.
they would put like a whale
male bones.
Male
Pretty
bones.
crazy. The rich people were killing the poorest back then, you know, and just taking their bones for their corsets.
How many male bones do you got? So they took the whale bones and just squeezed their chests in or something. I don't know. And Timothy was like, well, you know what I got a lot of in my basement?
What? You know what I got a lot of? You know what I got a lot of in my basement?
So he exports some whale bones and makes a fortune off of these whale bones.
And he's like, now, my basement's empty to collect male bones.
That's next.
Okay.
So he buys He makes all this money off of that.
So
Next-
he really is just playing, like, you know, in youth group where you'd start with a penny and then you would just go trade that up.
Yeah, kind of actually.
This guy's life was just like a crazy version
an
of that.
extreme scale of that.
His youth group was like, dude, the game ended like so long
we
ago.
have been done with this.
Yeah, dude, we've been chugging sodas through socks for the last, like, where you're like, and he's like, no, I'm still going. I'm collecting whale bones now. They're like, oh,
look at all my whale bones. There is a kid at youth group who does that too. Look at all
There's a kid in the back.
bones.
It's like the kid who's just drawing, and you're like, what are you drawing? Whale bones. Like, what the heck, man? What are you wearing? Male bones. Okay. All right.
So Timothy, and then he found faith. And so he said, you know what?
I can export this.
Yeah, he does. He gets a ton of Bibles, loads up a ship full of Bibles, and ships it overseas, just as some missionaries were thinking,
Are you joking?
no, Lord,
Oh my gosh.
they were praying. They said, Lord, bring us some Bibles. And then Timothy Dexter arrives.
And then they just hear a boat crash into the shore next to them.
Anybody need some Bibles?
That's what they shout from the port. They're just like, we got Bibles.
Bibles here.
Like a ball game? All right. Bibles and whale bones. Get them while they're
Well,
hot.
they're hot. Sells out of Bibles.
Did he sell the Bibles?
Sells all the Bibles. This guy is just insanely rich. He's one of the most wealthy people in the whole nation. In fact, he loaned the United States government $5 million in that day's currency. Insanely
How much is that now?
rich. I don't know. Let's take a look.
What
I
year
haven't
did he
looked
do
this up. I don't know exactly the year.
Around the time frame? 17?
Oh, it would have been probably like 1810.
Okay,
Hold on,
so
let me double
let's go
check. Let me double
1810,
check.
$5 million. I'm going to go
That's a little
probably
late.
$6
That's a little
million.
late. Probably 1790. 1790.
At least.
What'd you say?
I said at least $6 million.
All right, here we go. Inflationcalculator.com.
Are you just blind faith hoping that that's a thing?
Hey, it worked. 5 million in 1790.
Go to
is-
whalebonesforsale.com. See if that one exists. If not, it will by the end of the night. We got to buy that.
Nope, we're getting it.
We'll get it.
So 5 million in 1790 is worth $149 million today.
Holy cow.
This guy's insanely rich. Insanely rich. And everybody hates him for it. They hate him for it. And he knows it. So he leans into it.
He knows it.
He leans into it. This guy buys this massive estate in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
A massive Massachusetts estate.
A massive Massachusetts mansion.
And the things that this man did to this house.
Okay. I don't know why you said it like that, but okay.
He wanted to make it the most opulent place in the world. And so he built this garden, this massive, massive garden outside. And he erected 40 statues of prominent people in the world. And so it was George Washington, William Pitt, Napoleon Bonaparte, Thomas Jefferson, and of course, himself.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
And it was
Lord Dexter.
It was the biggest statue in the garden.
Obviously.
Because he was the most important. And it had the inscription that said...
On his statue?
On his statue. It said, Timothy Dexter, I am the first in the East, the first in the West, and the greatest philosopher in the Western world. I don't know where he got the philosopher
Dude, I read
part
that
from.
in someone's Twitter bio yesterday.
And so he started like painting like...
That's a Kanye West quote, is what that feels like. I'm not gonna lie. That's what that feels like. That's one of his weird tweets.
He started painting these murals on his ceiling. He started painting his walls. He had the sky and his hallways. It was like Vegas. Like, it was just insane. And
The nicest thing Tim could think of was Vegas. That's what he went. He was like, this place was crazy, dude. It was like Branson. It was wild. I'll tell you. Never seen such a thing.
No. It's like in Vegas when you look up in the buildings. They got the sky ceilings.
Oh,
everywhere you go.
yeah.
It was a
I don't know. I've
comparison.
never been to that place.
Oh, my gosh.
It's full of sin.
You've been with me.
As an accountability partner, right. We only win because him and Bree weren't married. We had to follow the Billy Graham rule. All right. It was. I was gonna say you went there on your honeymoon, and I was gonna try to be like I had to go on your honeymoon for the Billy Graham rule, but then I decided not to. But here we are.
Here we are.
We can edit it out.
And his house was just so over the top, right?
Yeah.
And everybody knew it. Everybody was like, I hate looking at that thing. I hate walking by and having to see it because it's just too ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially his wife.
Oh.
So she made him buy
Elizabeth?
She made him buy another house for her. She's like, I want to live
Elizabeth Forthworth?
in not that. Forthworth.
What was her last name? That's not what it was.
Frothingham.
Frothingham, that's right. It's a Forthworth.
Fort Worth. They named a city after her.
Frothingham, okay.
Frothingham.
Elizabeth had a separate house.
She had a separate house. And then
That's how
their
you know
marriage
it's
was
going
fine.
well.
She just was like, I will not live there.
Okay, did she get a statue?
I don't think so. Maybe that's the reason.
If you built a statue for yourself, would you give one to Bree?
Of course I would.
Shut up. Would you give one to me?
No, definitely not. Would you give one to me?
Okay.
Okay,
I would have said yes if
pretend
you
I
had asked me first.
Are you kidding me?
I would give you a statue.
If you had a statue on your property of you, you would build a statue of me to go along with it?
I would cement your body and let you die out there. And then people would be like, what happened to Tim? And I go, I don't know. He disappeared. I put that statue out for him.
Yeah, to remember him. Don't try to open it or anything.
I mean, they're like, yeah, his face looks terrified in that statue. Yeah, it didn't dry quick enough. So I covered you in cement. And your face is like, ah. And then you're stuck like that forever.
This is how you'll remember me.
Now, if you read the inscription, it says Lord Stone.
Gosh. Yeah, so she
Horrible
lived
to
in
look at. I was trying to think of what the line about the coins was. I couldn't get it. That's all
you're
right.
good.
I was gonna
You're
make it was a good callback in my head though. We had it. You know. I'll give myself credit even though I couldn't pull it out.
He got it. And so because his wife didn't live in there, his son, who's now an adult, moves back in with him.
Okay.
And they turn this into a frat house. And they are just belligerently drunk all the time. So much so that one time this guy was just on a leisurely walk through their gated community. And Timothy tells his son, he's like, you should shoot that guy.
Hold on, before we laugh. Did he kill him?
No, Timothy's son was like,
Okay.
Timothy's son was like, I don't want to do that.
And he's like, nah. You know how
Yeah, he's like, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it.
I'm a very drunk person, and you should shoot that guy. That's when you know it's time to get an Uber.
I'm a very drunk person.
If your friend starts saying you should shoot that guy, you should. The night's over.
Should, yeah. Call him an Uber. Send him home.
That is like Vegas.
So Timothy shoots at the guy, misses horribly because he.
Timothy did it.
Timothy was like, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
I do.
Misses him a bunch.
He's like, you should shoot that guy. And then someone's like, Dad, that's your statue, all right? If you're not gonna do it, I'll do it, all right? Every night he's like, who are these people outside looking at our house? Dad, you put those there.
There are 40 people in our garden. There's 40 individuals out there.
I wouldn't call it a crowd, but it's something. All right? There's a gathering outside. One of them's the leader. He's bigger than the others. All right? One of them's scared.
So that guy didn't walk by that house anymore.
Yeah. He's like, I gotta change my routine over that.
Yeah, different route. But the house got famous. I mean, it was famous already, but it got even more famous for being a place that was offensive to look at. And then here's the next part of the line that is more interesting. It was offensive to smell. Rough. So his house went
I'm
downhill.
having a hard time with this mic pack. I want to be
Are you
involved.
okay?
Yeah, it's really difficult. Hold on. My
Hold on.
thumbs are too
We
big
can cut
for
it out. We can cut it out.
My hand is too big for
We'll
this.
cut it out. We'll cut it out.
I feel like we're not going to cut it out.
My mic pack fell off earlier. It's on the floor.
You just let it go?
Yeah, it fell, but I was like, you know what? The show must go
on. All right, yeah.
You know, I'll just clip it right there on the front. We're good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so anyway, where were we? The guy changed his routine.
Yeah, have you ever heard of Timothy Dexter?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what if we didn't record this whole time?
Start it over. Pretend this is new.
Snort laugh again. All right, thank you. Got it.
Oh, man.
We were going to put it in post either way, so I'm glad you came through on that. So the house reeked.
The house smells really bad.
All right.
Really bad. He had a third floor that was entirely for parties, but it stopped being used because everyone's like, I don't want to smell that place.
Yeah.
And so...
Do you think it was the whale bones? What was smelling in the house? Do you know what was smelling, or are you just saying it smelled bad?
The quote is literally, it was offensive to smell. And they didn't give any context. It was just, this place was offensive.
That is how they talked, too.
Yeah.
That place is offensive to smell.
Yeah. How bad does something have to smell for you to be offended by it? Like you can smell something and be like, that's gross. But for you to be like, oh, I'm offended.
I am victimized by that smell. I don't know. It's got to impact your life.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so these two were disgusting. Is the moral of the story. Timothy he's made a ton of money in his life, right? And he's starting to become suspicious of all of his peers because he noticed he's going back through the script of his life.
He's like, wait a minute, you guys didn't like me before.
He's going through the script of his life. He's like, no one comes to my parties anymore. And he's like, all the business advice I've ever gotten, I think they were trying to ruin me. He's like, I think they were trying to financially ruin me. And so he says, you know I wonder what they would do if I was dead. And so he builds a mausoleum. And he fakes his own death.
Golly, dude. I'm a big fan of this guy.
And he gathers his family. He gets his wife and his children. He says, come around, children. I need you to act like I'm dead. And everybody just says, okay. And so they hold this funeral at this mausoleum, and he's hiding in the mausoleum.
How did they say he died?
I don't know. They didn't say. But he fakes his death, and
I'm sure it was easier to fake your death back then too. Again, I miss those days. You know? You know what I mean? Like, it was easier to disappear, easier to fake. You could just have someone spread a rumor that you died.
Yeah.
And no one's going to be like, well, it says that he's online on Instagram, so...
It says he's here.
Well, then also at that time, you could be like, oh, it's a ghost, right? Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with too many advertisements during the TILLN podcast? Have we got good news for you? Our patrons enjoy ad-free experience, and they get early access to content, behind-the-scenes stuff, exclusive merchandise, and access to a private Discord channel where we all are in it, our producers and the hosts. So if you'd like to be a patron today and solve that problem, why don't you text TILLN to 66866.
So he sits in the mausoleum and he watches this funeral. 3,000 people show up. 3,000 people show up to his funeral, and they all think he's dead. And his kids are selling it. His kids are doing a great job. They are sobbing.
You have to.
Yeah, they are selling it. Oh, hey, I think Pizza Hut's calling.
No way.
Hello, this is Tim.
Hey, I'm the driver from Pizza Hut.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, I'm in the area with your pizza. you give us an address of 413 Armour Road?
Oh, sorry, it's 314.
314.
Yeah, it's the Rhino.
Okay. All right, I'll be down in a second.
Awesome, sounds great. Thank you.
I don't know about that.
Jaron was so confident in Miskies. Corporate America, baby.
All right, well, hold on. They still got time to pull it through.
Do they, though?
Also, I like your delivery driver. I do. I like him a lot. Yeah. Hey, this is me from Pizza Hut. I love this guy.
Oh, I hope he wins. I
I think
so
he'll come on
excited.
stage. This is what my worry is, that he's going to show up and then not want to come in the room.
Yeah, is that he's going to be nervous? He's going to have stage fright?
Stage fright?
Yeah.
I was just worried about, like, I mean, would you deliver? Okay, anyway. So you think, yeah, okay. They still got time. I believe in Minsky's.
I don't. Okay, so his kids are selling it. They're
Yeah.
sobbing.
Yeah.
They're sobbing their eyes out. But his wife, she's just kind of enjoying the party. She's got a drink. She's mingling. She's just like,
She's like,
yeah,
I don't
my
know what
husband's
goes
dead.
on at that big house.
She's,
And, you know, in my mind, he's been dead for years, honestly.
she's like, you know what? I've done this husband die thing before. It's not new
Oh, my
to me.
gosh, she's a widower. That's right, I forgot. Oh, no.
And so she's just enjoying it. And Timothy is getting frustrated because
So
she's
he's
like,
whispering from the, he's like,
Elizabeth,
sell it.
do better.
And she's like,
Your house smells.
my house doesn't. Is that what every guest said at the funeral? Good man. Smelly house.
Smelly house.
Smelly house. Smelly house. All of the whale bones. So he's just watching his funeral.
He's watching his funeral, and he's just fuming at Elizabeth. Fuming. Frothing at Frothingham. If
Oh
you
my
will.
gosh. I see your guy.
Oh, praise God. You guys
Okay.
ready for this? I think Caleb's trying to talk him into it.
Caleb's like, listen. We
Caleb's
tipped
like,
you
listen, we gave you a lot of money for this. You got to do your part.
well. Y'all ready?
Oh, praise God. He's so nervous. He does not want to do this.
Yeah, he doesn't want to come in.
I hope he comes in. I'm really excited
Come
for
on.
this.
Here we go. Everyone start. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut!
We could have given the thing anyway.
He didn't want yeah,
He was just like, thanks. I love that guy. I love that guy.
There's no pizza in here. Anybody want some pizza?
I love that before you even offered it, Joe went, are you going to eat that?
Do you want that pizza?
Joe got here like 4 hours early. Joe has a towel with our faces on it.
Towel with a picture of us.
So they came to my show in St. Louis with a picture we had taken in like 2017, and they put it on a towel.
Oh my gosh.
And then we took a picture. We took a picture with the towel, and then they printed a picture of the. So I think you deserve a pizza, my guy.
He earned it. They earned
Didn't
it.
even get to offer it. I love that immediately we were like, they're gonna hand that to me.
That's my pizza.
That was confidence, you know?
Yeah. Well, so does the next guy, is Minsky's going to get 2 trophies then?
I guess so.
Great. Did everybody get your
Here's the
confetti
thing.
cannons
I
off?
wanted to boo the second place, but we were told we can't do that.
Yeah, is that mean? Does that hurt?
I think it's hilarious, but
Well,
I guess.
clock is ticking, Minskys.
All right.
So Timothy is watching
his funeral. Yeah.
Watching his funeral happen, frothing at Frothingham,
Yes.
and he says, "You know what? I've had enough." And so he sneaks out of the mausoleum and just starts berating Elizabeth in the middle of the wake.
In the middle.
The priest is like doing the speech. And he gets so mad, he like grabs a cane and starts hitting her with it. He's like, "You're not doing
Whoa,
good enough."
what?
Yeah, like really, really angry. And everyone's like, "Wait a second, is that Timothy Dexter? Is that the guy whose funeral we're at?"
That guy looks a lot like that statue over there. That's Timothy, all right.
Yeah, he smells like him.
I'm offended by the smell and by the fact that he's hitting his wife with that molasses spoon right now. I don't understand what's happening.
And so everyone's like, "You're not dead?"
I was like, "Oh, bro, can you please do this for me? Can you all just show up to my funeral?
2 weeks from now.
What if there's a pizza?" He's there. He's all right. 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. Next Saturday, 3
Bro,
p.m.
if I die in 2 weeks,
You know, it's fake.
fate. I was gonna say, it's murder. What are you talking about?
I said fake,
Oh, fate. Okay.
but also fake.
All right. So he's like, ruining his funeral.
Who absolutely ruined his own funeral by being alive. And everyone's like really mad about it. And he just says, "You guys want to party? Drinks on me," and just turns it into this massive, turns out he's alive party. And everybody just kind of dances the night away and forgets about it.
Okay. It's like, shipping coal to Newcastle, It's like showing up alive to your own funeral, It's all the same. It works out.
It works out, I guess. And so the guy, let's be honest, this event wasn't great for their marriage. Things kind of fractured between the two of them. Luckily, she already moved out a long time ago.
Yeah. You don't gotta do all that stuff. Yeah.
So he just starts telling everyone,
He's like,
yeah.
"Hey, listen, everyone's having fun. Like, hey, can we just forget about the whole me yelling at you and hitting you with that molasses spoon thing?"
And she's like, "No, we can't forget about that."
He's like, "Well, I wouldn't have done it if you had said nice things."
Yeah, if you would have acted sad a little bit.
It actually sounded like marriage counseling. I wouldn't have done that if you had done this.
So now he has a track record of this because now he starts telling everyone that Elizabeth is dead.
Oh, I love him. Yeah.
And they're saying, "That can't be." They're saying, "That can't be." I've
You
seen.
can't just be like, she left me. Yeah, someone's like, "What happened to Elizabeth?" "She's dead." Yeah, she dead.
died.
Really? I
She
just
died.
saw her at the Dollar General
Well,
last
that's
week.
Dollar General. How long has Dollar General been
I don't
around?
know what. I saw her at the Continental General.
What did you say?
The-
Continental General.
Continental General. Continental Lieutenant. I don't know what they called
Continental tree. People did exactly that. They said, "Well, that can't be because I just saw Elizabeth."
it. Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, that was her ghost."
Yeah, of course. Yeah, obviously.
And he was like, "Yeah, you might have seen her walking
Don't talk
in."
to her ghost. Her ghost doesn't like me.
Yeah, she's rude. And so they're like, "Yeah, but we see her coming into your house all the time." And he's like, "It's a ghost. It's a ghost. That's her ghost. Watch out for her, evil ghost.
Watch out for her.
Watch out for her, evil ghost." And so he starts. He becomes kind of like this street prophet kind of guy. So he just kind of hangs out on the on the street corners, telling people about how he could run the government better and how his wife is dead.
Is he losing it or is he like?
Oh, I think he lost it a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably pre-fake funeral, I would guess.
Well, honestly, probably before he got out of the 8. How old are you when you're 8? What grade are you when you're 8?
The second grade?
How old are you when you're 8?
I don't know, probably 8, bro. I don't.
Second grade? I think that's when he lost it, when he's like, now I should drop out.
Okay. And it was just a slow spiral.
A slow
To
spiral.
now he's out on the streets being like, watch out for that. He's following around town, dude. He's like, going
It's a ghost.
That's a ghost over there.
Don't talk to her. She's ghost.
One time when we were in Los Angeles once, we went down to Hollywood Boulevard, and one of the street performers just like leans over another street performer and points at me and just goes, that guy is a cop. And that's just so confident and serious. Very,
That
it was
guy.
like, be careful with, he's a cop. So that's what,
Did you arrest him?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I followed him to his car, followed him home, really leaned into it, you know. Turned out he was doing some drugs, so I
Turned out he was a cop.
turned out
It was entrapment.
he leans over and goes, that guy's a cop. And then the cop who's undercover as a Hollywood street performer in this scenario, just Hollywood Spider-Man's just out there and he's like in the suit sweating like, don't blow my cover, man.
Sweet. Doesn't suspect a thing.
Okay.
So he's telling everybody about how he could do everything better than everybody.
Yeah.
He's berating priests, berating the government, berating his wife, like everybody that exists. He's like, I'm better at all this than you. I could do it better.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can prove it by the shiploads of anything I could sell. They give me a shipload of whatever, I'll sell it for a lot of money because I'm better than all of you. And so he's one of those guys, right? And so he says, you know what makes sense for me at this stage in my life? He says, I've
I'm
made a
so
lot of money.
glad that podcasts weren't around at that guy's time. You know, he would have had one and it would have been popular. And that's
Well, you know what was around at that time?
the newspaper? What? What was around? The printing press?
Books.
Yeah.
So he wrote a book.
Obviously.
And this book is literally called A Pickle for the Knowing Ones. And in this book, he just goes on a tirade for,
A pickle for the knowing ones?
yeah, it's about 40 pages long.
That's my biography.
It's about 40 pages long, and he goes on this tirade about how bad the government is, how bad priests are,
Yeah.
and how bad his wife is. And it's his big book of philosophy. And here's the thing. There are 8,500 words in this book. 8,500 words. There is not a single punctuation.
It's a 40-page run-on sentence.
40 pages, no punctuation. On top of that, everything is misspelled. There's not a single word that's spelled
Dude, he
correctly.
dropped out at 8 years old. Yeah, cut him some slack, dude.
And there's random capital letters all over the place. Just random. Here, I actually have, we can see an excerpt here. I'm going to read.
I'm
You wanna-
misspelled.
you wanna read a little bit of this? Read a
I'm
little
the
bit of this.
first lord of the... Oh my gosh, dude. The United States of America. Mercury.
A Mercury.
Now of Newburyport. It is the voice of the... Wow. That's rough,
It's
man.
really, really, really rough. Fourth line, I love Lord's prete saune for don't hurt a cat nor the mouse. He did that. He
Hey,
hurt
did you
a
read
cat and a
this?
mouse.
Did you read this?
I didn't read it. I
Okay,
didn't read the
great,
whole
because
thing.
this part down here says, in the first place they are found, in the next place to make out Dexter's museum, I want 4 lions to defend the great and mystery men from east to west, from north to south, which now are this way. I want 4 lions are at the places raised the lamb is not ready in short meter if agreeable.
Here's
form a...
Here's what I love about it, is he didn't say I want 4 lions. He said I wants 4
I
lions.
wants 4 lions.
I wants 4 lions.
I wants 4 lions to defend this great and something men from... What?
Yeah, this is
Mystery men.
mystery men. Watch out for the mystery men. Here's the thing.
This guy's got 40 statues and 4 large cats.
They're not lions.
This guy's Lord Exotic, right? The Tiger Lord. You know what I'm talking about?
So he doesn't even sell this. He's got enough money. So he just is walking around the streets like they're tracks. And he's like,
Here's
have
my
you heard of
manifesto. Like, what are you
just handing it out to people. And here's the thing. He's handing it out to people, and eventually a printer gets it. And he says, Oh yeah, we're selling this.
Oh yeah.
They do 8.
Old Barnes.
Old
goes, my buddy
Barnes.
Noble's gonna love this. I tell you what. I don't know.
Mr. Borders. That's an old one. The guy gets it. He's like, yeah, we're selling this. They do 8 editions. It flies off the shelves. People are like, I need this.
Did they edit it at all in the other editions?
So after the first edition goes live, the press gets it, and he gets a lot of criticism for, the awful
whole book.
grammar.
Yeah,
for
a lot of
everything.
criticism for it. Yeah.
They're like, we can't understand anything. But one of the biggest things, they said, at least add some punctuation to this.
Yeah.
And so he adds in his second edition, the publisher comes to him and is like, do you want to add some punctuation? He said, sure. And so he adds an addendum at the end. So at the end of the second edition, there's a page that's a full page with a text in the middle that says, for all the critics, it's spelled way worse than this. It doesn't, if you read it, it wouldn't sound as good as what I'm about to say.
For all the crickets.
For all the crickets. For all the critics, here are your stops and marks. Salt and pepper them where you would like. And the next page is this.
What? We just want some punctuation in your book. You do it.
He's like, this should be enough. Just put it wherever you need.
I don't know if anybody can see, but in this column of question marks, there's one exclamation point at the bottom row. This looks like something my grandma would share on Facebook and be like, found it, like those like comment when you find it things.
Oh, man.
And the publisher was like, yeah, this is good. What, are you gonna cut it out?
Paste it in. It came with a glue stick. First ever glue stick. Second edition.
Strapped to the front.
So Timothy Dexter, he wrote that. That's a quote.
He wrote that. Poetic, really, when you think about it. Yeah.
Greatest philosopher.
This piece is called Full Stop.
Pretty incredible. And so when I heard about this, I said, well, I'm going to get it.
Shut up. What? Look at this dumb hat.
This is a pickle for the knowing ones. If you can't see the picture, this is him and his pup. This is going to go up on our wall. This is going to be a new piece in our studio. We're going to frame
for the
this.
knowing ones.
Here's what's crazy. The second edition is impossible to find. It's like a collector's item. I tried so hard. This is first edition, so we don't have the stop page. But yeah, it's really, really tough to find that second edition. Second edition. It's incredible. And so you'll see this on our...
This is amazing.
You'll see this in our studio from now on. We're going to hang it up on the wall. Well, maybe not from now on. We need to find a place to put it. But
Wow.
at some point soon, we'll hang that up somewhere. A pickle for the knowing
I'm
ones.
so glad. Look at the dedication you put into the craft, man. It says Lord Timothy Dexter. Original edition with illustrations. Did he illustrate it?
No, he didn't illustrate it. So this is a later, where someone else
So
came
you're
in
saying
and added.
that hat is proportionally correct.
That's what he wore.
Pull it back up.
That's
the
what he
hat,
wore. He
the
wore that
hat
hat around.
and the dog are proportionally correct.
Yeah. He's wearing a little dog on his head. That's actually a whalebone on his head.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Incredible.
Wow.
Timothy Dexter, he's a legend.
Wait, even the title of it, it's a pickle for the no, and then the one is not capitalized. Is what it looks like.
Read the
love
subtitle.
that. The subtitle. Where's the subtitle?
I mean, is it not on the front of it?
Is this the subtitle?
I don't know. Read it. Let me know.
Pickle for the Knowing Ones by Lord Timothy Dexter with an introductory preface by a distinguished citizen of Old Newbury, 4th edition. What's the you were trying to find me to tell me to do what? The subtitle?
Yeah, I was trying to get you to read the subtitle because there's a subtitle. I thought it was on there. I guess it wasn't.
You got the wrong edition, dude.
Oh my gosh.
This is almost cool.
I can't remember what it was. I thought it had that on there.
It is printed in Vegas, just so you know. That's funny.
That's why we went.
You bought this a couple days ago. This is printed on demand.
100%.
That's funny. That's wild.
Yeah. So he wrote that book.
Just handed it out.
And it got to be pretty successful.
Actually, everybody look under your chairs right now. Abby, why'd you look? That's hilarious.
That would have been awesome. So he had surrounded himself by this group of people that were insane. And one of them was a poet who wasn't good. But they wrote this poem, and this kind of lives on in infamy. The house that he had built. After he died, someone came and they sold all of his statues. Here's the thing. Nobody wanted them, so they only sold for a couple dollars a pop.
The one thing he couldn't sell.
It was because he was dead. He didn't get to sell them. If he was around.
You put those on a boat, you show up in the islands, and they're like,
you tell them,
this is crazy.
Guess what you can do with glasses?
We were just looking for 40 statues.
And so, so they couldn't sell them all. They sold them all for a couple dollars, and they had a bunch left over. So they just piled them up and they burned them. And then they took his house and they sold it. It became a tavern, cycled through a bunch of owners. And then somebody, somewhere along the line, said, you know what? We want to repaint this house. But there's paint on the walls already. And so we can't paint over it. And so they said, let's burn the paint off. So they burnt like half the house down.
Obviously, yeah. Well, I took care of that.
Paint's off the walls.
I saw that. That's a quick tip on HGTV. I saw that. Yeah, don't want to repaint? Burn it down.
Burn it down. Paint's gone. So a historical society got their hands on it. It was like half burnt down. They ended up restoring it, and they sell it now. It's like some private property. But there's a plaque out front written by this poet. Who was one of his friends. And the poet says, Lord Dexter is a man of fame. Most celebrated is his name.
Oh, gosh. He sold cats and rats and bats.
More precious than gold, that's pure. Lord Dexter shine forever mirror.
He's like, you guys are going to love this guy. We dropped out of school together, all right?
So here's the thing. He did die. He died, had a big funeral.
How many people showed up at his actual one?
I don't know. There's no record of that.
They were like, no, we've been to that one before.
We've seen it.
No,
we've seen it.
We'll catch the next one.
I would be interested to see how his wife did in that one. So upon his death, though, the paper went to some of his contemporaries, his business partners, and they asked for a quote. And this is the quote. They said, his intellectual endowments are not something to be exalted.
That was it?
That was the quote. They're like, oh, he died?
They're like,
You want a quote from me?
Yeah, what, you want me to say something? Okay. He just doesn't seem like the kind of guy who knows what's going on.
Yeah. And here's the craziest part of it all. Just before his death, he had been long retired from the shipping industry, right? He had made all his money. He was too busy writing books now, right? None of the other ones got published. None of the other ones made it off the drafting table. And so he's doing this career, right?
Yeah.
Someone told him. They said, you know what I hear is happening in Georgia right now?
Oh, my gosh. We got to get a shipload of fiddles down to that state, I'll tell you what.
They're having a fiddle off, baby!
Hey, if you like this episode, we've got more of them you can watch here, or just some highlights, some of our favorite parts from episodes before. Please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future episodes, and leave a comment and let us know how we're doing. So thank you for being a part of this community. We'll see you again on the next episode of Things I Learned Last Night.